So we're going to talk about benchmark week, all the hype and the build-up that surrounds it. So the question that we're going to try to answer here and give some clarity to is benchmark week a test of your fitness, your overall fitness? Does it mean that you're getting better or worse, or what the heck is the purpose behind it? So the first question is, what are we exactly testing? All right, so most of this is going to be a strength test. We're testing our ability to have integrity in some of these movements, whether it's our squat, being able to do a pull-up negative, being able to deadlift in the correct form. So it's the integrity of the major movements. Or also testing strength and power. So strength, being able to move external load at your body weight or greater. Being able to test if you can move your body weight at all as far as a dip or a pull-up goes. Power is going to be more on the snatch and the clean and jerk side. So we are testing some areas of fitness, we're just not testing all areas of fitness. So, and then the next thing is joint strength or joint integrity. So being able to do certain movements under certain loads is going to make sure that your joints are capable of handling much more complex, much more dynamic movements. So it's kind of making sure that we keep our safety, we're not getting injured. All right, so that's the areas that we're testing as far as the benchmark goes. So you can kind of see there's not a lot of variance within that. We're not testing the 9 different skills. We're just testing a couple here. Okay, so why are we only testing those things? And number one is going to be time. If we were to try to test every single thing, it would take 4 weeks, and we would probably leave some other stuff out. So, or not, we just don't have the time to test that. We're going to test the major players here that are going to carry over to other movements that we do and other things that we do. So these are easily measurable, like squatting. Put some weight on the bar, make sure you go through the full range of motion. Deadlifting, pull-ups. If we were to try to test our flexibility, it would kind of be hard for every individual. Different variables are going on. Running, so different surfaces, different temperatures. It's easier to test these areas. It's quick, it takes a week, and we got some raw numbers that we can go by. Also, strength transfers to other movements. Like if you're going to improve your front squat, you're probably going to make a thruster easier, right? If you're going to be able to do a strict pull-up, you're going to be able to be stronger in the kipping without getting injured. If you do better in the back squat, your overhead squat is going to go up because you're stronger in the squat position. So they transfer over to other movements that we do and other modalities of times and conditioning pieces as well. And they're also the main functional movements. Like these play into everything else that we do. So it's these can be transferred over, like I said before, like a power snatch into a kettlebell swing, or a front squat into a full clean. So there's a lot of transfer in these movements to other things. Okay, next question arises the question is when are we going to test all the other areas? And the answer is we do it every day. In here, there's not just a workout that we throw up on there and we sit back as coaches and we giggle and laugh because everybody's dying. There is an observable aspect to all the workouts that we do, seeing how people react to them, if they go fast, if they go slow, areas of deficiency, skill-wise, cardiovascular-wise, flexibility-wise, and also analytical as far as the numbers go on the whiteboard every single day. Seeing people who scaled it appropriately versus not appropriately. What are the heavy workouts turning into something too long, or is it not heavy enough, or is it too heavy and most people scaled it back? So every day is going to be a test of other aspects of our fitness in here. Also the other question arises is, why on benchmark week am I not PRing, or is just this one thing going up and I spent so much time on this other thing? Well, the underlying statement is progress is unpredictable, right? Nobody can predict that you're going to PR on the specific day at a specific hour, a specific minute, right? So it's not, even though you put in a lot of work and you have done everything you're supposed to up to that point, it still might not work out. There's a lot of different life factors that go on: sleep, food, emotions, hormones. The list goes on from there, and they all affect us. And it's not as simple and easy and cut and dry just like that. So you might not PR anything, right? And also the other factor goes into the longer you've been doing this, the harder it's going to be. You're starting to kind of bump up to where your barrier is as far as strength or as far as skill goes. So those PRs that you might have gotten when you first started CrossFitting or lifting or whatever it is might not happen as close together or as soon or as big as they were right now, because you are getting better. You are getting to closer to your potential, and you're bumping up against the threshold, and you're trying to move that threshold up slowly. So it might only happen every so often. Also, there's an emotional buildup. People build this whole benchmarking thing up in their head. One of the worst things to do is set your expectation at the same height as your goal, right? Expectations should be set at a lower level than your goal. Don't set it at this huge ceiling, and then when you fall short of an expectation, you get upset about it. We need to take the emotional buildup out of benchmark week. All this is a way for us to test and see where our numbers are at to reflect the programming that is going to come in the next 12, 8, 14, whatever the next cycle is, weeks. So it's more of a test to see what we need to work on as a class. And that kind of gets me into my next question. Why should I do benchmark week if it's not a full test of fitness? And the answer is, okay, again, your numbers reflect the programming. So in essence, if you're not getting the results that you want, or you feel like you're not as strong as you were, and you say, I'm not going to do I'm not going to do the benchmark week, well, you're basically taking yourself out of the aspect of what the programming reflects. So you're digging yourself a deeper hole, because you're not coming in and showing what needs to be worked on as far as the gym goes. Also, we need to keep current to our percentages. We don't want to be working off of a PR that we hit 2 years ago and it's 25 pounds less than what we can do right now. That's going to drive you into the ground. It's going to get you injured. It's not going to be correct for what we need to do. Percentages and everything else that we do in here is based off of a scientific process. So it's not going to be just like, oh, well, it's a little bit heavier, it should be okay. No, we need to stay current to our percentages. Also, time and time again, people come in, they don't think they're going to get a PR, then they surprise themselves. So by coming in and just even doing it and not having that expectation of PRing, and know maybe, hey, in the back of your head, you know that you haven't had a good week or a good day or a good month, but you're going to do it anyways, you might surprise yourself. And then the final thing is, and this goes for everything that we do in here, doing something that you don't like is going to get you better. If I don't like running, I need to do more running. My fitness is going to get better because of that. I don't like coming in and doing 1 rep maxes, but I'm going to come in and do 1 rep maxes, and my fitness is going to get better because of that, all right? And then the final thing, and the question that kind of goes into after we take away from all this is, so how do I really know if I'm getting better or getting fitter? The first step is going to be making sure that you record everything in a logbook, on your phone, whatever it might be, the littlest thing. So we can look back at it 6 months, 12 months, 18 months down the road and say, wow, this is where I was at, this is where I am now. Because so many people get caught up in that 12-week cycle. So record your workouts, whether it's something mobility ridiculous-wise, or if it is a benchmark. Record everything so you can see where you came from. And then long-term progress. This kind of goes back to recording as well too. Too many people get caught up on the instant gratification aspect of results. We have to look in the long term. You started 2 years ago. How are you doing now versus then? Not how you were doing 2 months ago, but how are you doing 2 years ago? There is an increase as far as fitness goes there, if you look back. And then finally is setting and achieving goals. So many times people are focused on these benchmarks that we do, which is great. but maybe you should have some other goals outside of the benchmarks to improve your fitness. Whether it's flexibility, whether it's weight loss, whether it's sleeping or nutrition. Like, how are you going to set and achieve those goals? If you can set and achieve those goals, then your overall fitness is getting better. It's not like I'm gonna get more flexible and then yeah, my blood pressure is going to go down. It doesn't work like that. As long as you're making the forward progress in one area, there's probably all the other areas are kind of chasing after it too. So make sure that we have other goals, and you know, we have a goal board in here. Easily setting a goal up there, setting a time frame, and trying to achieve it. So again, going into this, benchmark week is important for programming, for the gym, for the purpose of fitness, as far as doing and getting the numbers out of it. But it is not the end all to I'm getting better or I'm getting worse. So take that into account. Make sure you come to benchmark week and just have fun.